New York City, 4:30 a.m., February 5th, 2016. The night shift at the Federal Reserve Bank was usually quiet, just the hum of computers and occasional coffee breaks. But not tonight. A red alert flashed across the main monitoring screen, then another, and another. Sarah Martinez, the senior payments officer, nearly spilled her coffee as she watched the numbers roll in. "This can't be right," she muttered, eyes fixed on her screen. Transfer request, 81 million. Transfer request, 170 million. Transfer request, 250 million. The requests kept coming, all from the same source, Bangladesh Central Bank, all trying to move massive amounts of money within hours. Something wasn't adding up. Bangladesh's central bank rarely moved more than $10 million at once. Now they wanted to transfer almost $1 billion. Sarah reached for her phone but stopped. It was the middle of the night in New York. In Bangladesh, it was their weekend. No one would pick up. She stared at the blinking alerts. Protocol said to process verified SWIFT transfers immediately. But this felt wrong. What Sarah didn't know was that 8,000 miles away, in a quiet office in Bangladesh's central bank, a printer had mysteriously stopped working, and by the time anyone would notice why, it would be too late. The biggest digital bank heist in history was already underway, and it was just the beginning. This wasn't just about stolen money. This was about something much bigger, a secret group of hackers, working for a desperate nation, about to show the world just how vulnerable our banks really are. The question wasn't just who was behind it. The real question was, could anyone stop them? Let's go back 6 months earlier. Manila, Philippines, May 2015. The RCBC Bank on Jupiter Street was like any other bank branch. Security guards playing with their phones, customers waiting in line, regular bank stuff. But on this day, something different happened. 4 men walked in, nothing special about them. Regular clothes, regular faces, the kind of people you'd forget about in 5 minutes. They each opened an account, put in $500 each, got their paperwork, left, and then nothing. The accounts just sat there. No deposits, no withdrawals. For months, they were just empty numbers in the system. Nobody asked questions. Why would they? Banks have thousands of quiet accounts, but those 4 accounts, they were like time bombs, just waiting. Meanwhile, over in Bangladesh, the country was booming, skyscrapers going up everywhere, money flowing in from all over the world. Their central bank was handling billions of dollars. And right in the middle of the capital, Dhaka, sat their central bank, a building where the country's money, billions of dollars, flowed through every single day. But here's the thing about having billions of dollars. Everyone wants a piece of it. January 2016, 1 month before everything went wrong. A bank employee in Bangladesh checked his email. Just another normal day at work. He clicked on what looked like a regular message. Click. That's all it took. He went home that night, probably had dinner, watched some TV, went to sleep. But that click, it opened a door that would let some very dangerous people walk right into one of the most secure banking systems in Asia. For the next month, they watched, they learned, they saw how the bank moved money, how their security worked. When people came in, when they left, they were like thieves casing a bank in an old movie, except they never had to step foot in the building. They just sat, hidden in the bank's computers, waiting for the perfect moment. And that moment, it was coming up fast. But what nobody knew yet was that this wasn't just about stealing money. This was about something bigger. This was about a country so desperate for cash, they were about to do something no country had ever done before. They were about to rob a bank, not with guns, not with bombs, but with a keyboard. And the scary part? They had done this before, many times. But this time was different. This was going to be their masterpiece. Thursday evening, February 4th, 2016, Bangladesh Central Bank. The cleaning staff were just starting their rounds. Most employees had gone home. It was the start of their weekend. In Bangladesh, that means Friday and Saturday, not Saturday and Sunday. Perfect timing. The hackers were back. But this time wasn't for watching. This was showtime. They slipped into the bank system using the passwords they'd stolen, like having a key to every door in the building. Their target? The SWIFT system. Now, if you've never heard of SWIFT, think of it as the language banks use to talk to each other about money. Super secure, military-grade protection, the kind of system that's impossible to break into. At least that's what everyone thought. See, SWIFT itself wasn't the problem. The system works fine. It's like having the world's strongest safe, but leaving the key under the doormat. The hackers had found Bangladesh's doormat. They started typing up transfer requests. Not just 1 or 2, 35 of them. The amounts? Crazy big. $50 million here, $100 million there. Total? Almost $1 billion. But here's the clever part. They weren't trying to take money from Bangladesh directly. Nope. They were going for Bangladesh's account at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. Why New York? Because that's where Bangladesh, like many other countries, keeps its dollars. Billions of them. Just sitting there, waiting to be moved around for international trades and stuff. The hackers knew exactly what they were doing. Every click, every keystroke. This wasn't random. This wasn't amateur hour. But they had one more trick up their sleeve. Remember that printer I mentioned earlier? The one in Bangladesh that stopped working? Yeah, that was them too. See, every time a bank makes a transfer, it prints out a record, like a receipt. The hackers couldn't have that. So they broke the printer. Simple, effective, evil genius level stuff. They also wiped the transfer records from the bank's computers, like cleaning up fingerprints from a crime scene. By midnight, they were done. The transfer requests were sent. The printer was jammed. The evidence was gone. Now all they had to do was wait. But remember those 4 bank accounts in Manila, the ones just sitting there for months? They were about to wake up. And in New York, Sarah Martinez's quiet night shift was about to get very, very interesting. The pieces were all in place. The biggest bank heist in history wasn't just starting. It was already halfway done, and nobody had any idea. Let's break down what happened next, hour by hour. Friday morning, New York time. Sarah and her team at the Federal Reserve were looking at these transfer requests from Bangladesh. On paper, everything looked legit. The right codes, the right signatures, the right everything. But something felt off. These amounts, they're huge, Sarah told her supervisor. They tried calling Bangladesh. No answer. Because remember, it's their weekend. The Fed team had 2 choices: stop everything and wait, or process the transfers like normal. They started processing. But then, a stroke of pure luck. The Fed's computers flagged some transfers. Why? Because one word in the transfer details matched the name of a company that wasn't supposed to get money. Some Iranian shipping company or something. Pure coincidence. But it probably saved hundreds of millions. Meanwhile, in Bangladesh, everyone's at home. It's Friday. Weekend time. That broken printer? Still broken. Those missing transfer records? Still missing. Saturday rolls by. Nothing happens. Sunday morning, Bangladesh. Finally, someone notices something's up with that printer. They spend hours trying to fix it. When it finally starts working again, out come the transfer records. And that's when everyone freaks out. Phone calls start flying. Stop the transfers! Call New York! What do you mean it's their weekend now? See what happened there? The hackers didn't just steal money. They stole time. They hit on Thursday night in Bangladesh. By Friday, Bangladesh was closed. By the time Bangladesh noticed on Sunday, New York was closed. And Monday? Well, Monday was about to get interesting. Because in the Philippines, where some of that money was headed, Monday was Chinese New Year. Banks closed. Again. The timing was perfect. Almost too perfect. Out of the 35 transfers the hackers tried to make, 30 got stopped, thanks to that lucky coincidence. But 5 went through 5 transfers, $81 million. Remember those 4 quiet bank accounts in Manila? Not so quiet anymore. The money flowed in like a tsunami and flowed out just as fast. By the time anyone could do anything, the money was gone. Into casinos, into cash, into thin air. The hackers didn't just beat the banks, they beat time itself. But here's the crazy part. This wasn't just about the money. This was about sending a message. And that message? It was about to get very, very clear. Let's track those 5 transfers that made it through. First stop, Sri Lanka, $20 million. The money landed in an account belonging to the Shalika Foundation, except there was a problem. A bank worker in Sri Lanka looked at the transfer and thought, wait a minute, $20 million for a tiny charity no one's ever heard of? And why did they spell foundation as foundation? Something wasn't right. That banker's gut feeling? It probably saved $20 million. The transfer got stopped and sent back. Score 1 for the good guys. But what about the other $81 million? All of it, every single dollar, went to that same RCBC bank branch in Manila. You know, the one where those 4 mysterious guys opened accounts months ago? Those quiet accounts suddenly exploded with cash. Think about it. Accounts that sat there for months with just $500 each, suddenly getting millions of dollars. You'd think that would raise some red flags, right? But here's where it gets weird. The money didn't sit still. It started moving. Fast. Really fast. First stop, local money changers. Then, Filipino casinos. Why casinos? Because in the Philippines back then, Casinos didn't have to follow the same strict money tracking rules as banks. Money goes in as electronic transfers, comes out as cash, clean, untraceable, gone. The bank finally caught on Tuesday, 5 days after the heist started. But by then, too late, way too late. The police managed to track down some names. 2 Chinese guys, Ding and Gao. They were the ones who set up those bank accounts. But when the cops went looking for them, gone. Last seen boarding planes to Macau. And Macau? That's interesting, really interesting, because Macau isn't just any city. It's a special place where certain countries that can't easily move money around the world, do their banking. Countries like North Korea. And that's when investigators started putting the pieces together. The timing, the precision, the technical skills, the Macau connection. This wasn't just some random hackers getting lucky. This was something else, something bigger. And the evidence? It was about to lead somewhere nobody expected. When you're trying to solve a crime this big, you look for patterns. And the cybersecurity experts who dug into this, they found patterns all right. They started looking at the malware, the nasty computer code the hackers used, and something clicked. Wait, one investigator said, I've seen this before. The code matched other attacks, not just bank attacks, but others. The Sony Pictures hack in 2014, attacks on South Korean TV stations, hits on cryptocurrency exchanges. All of them had the same digital fingerprints, same coding style, same techniques, same everything. The group behind all these attacks had a name, Lazarus. But who was Lazarus? The investigators kept digging, going through server logs, checking IP addresses, looking for any tiny mistake the hackers might have made, and then they found it. One slip-up. That's all it took. The hackers had forgotten to use their digital disguise, just once, for a few seconds. But those few seconds, they gave them away. The connection came from North Korea. But wait, there was more. Hidden in the computer code were little pieces of Korean text, not the kind of Korean used in South Korea, North Korean. The pieces started fitting together. The Macau connection, the attack patterns, the Korean language clues, the timing of the attacks. Could someone have framed North Korea? Maybe, but that's like saying someone could fake a fingerprint. Possible? Yes. Likely? No way. Think about it. North Korea needed money. They had the skills. They had the motivation. They had the nerve. No other country would dare try something like this. Rob a bank? Another country's bank? That's basically an act of war. But North Korea? They didn't care. They needed the money. Their weapons program was expensive. International sanctions were hurting them. They needed cash, lots of it, and they found a way to get it. Don't use guns. Don't use troops. Use computers. It was brilliant, in an evil genius kind of way. And the scariest part? This wasn't their first heist, and it definitely wouldn't be their last. The Bangladesh job was just the one we caught. How many others worked? How many went unnoticed? How many are happening right now? Nobody knows. And that's exactly how North Korea wants it. So, what happened to the money? $81 million. Gone. Vanished into the casinos of Manila, then into Macau, then, probably straight to North Korea. The Bangladesh bank tried to get it back. They're still trying. But that money? It's long gone. Think about what this means for a second. A country, an actual country, robbed a bank. Not with soldiers, not with spies, with keyboards and code. And here's the really crazy part. That $81 million? For North Korea, that's huge. That's enough to fund their weapons program for months, buy luxury goods for their leaders, pay for who knows what else. But Bangladesh? They needed that money too. That was taxpayer money, real people's money, and North Korea just took it. Since then, things have only gotten worse. Lazarus didn't stop. They got better, smarter, bolder. They've hit cryptocurrency exchanges, more banks, tech companies, anyone with money they can grab. The scary part? We only know about the attacks that failed, or the ones that were too big to hide. How many worked? How many small banks got hit? How many decided to keep quiet? Nobody knows. And here's what keeps bank security people up at night. If North Korea could do this, who else could? What's stopping other countries from trying the same thing? The truth is, our money isn't sitting in vaults anymore. It's just numbers and computers. And computers can be hacked. Remember that printer in Bangladesh? The one that stopped working at just the right time? That wasn't an accident. That was a warning. A warning that in today's world, you don't need guns to rob a bank. You don't need masks. You don't even need to be in the same country. All you need is some smart hackers, the right timing, and a whole lot of nerve. The Bangladesh heist? It wasn't just a robbery. It was the future of crime. And the scariest part? It's still happening, right now. Somewhere in North Korea, someone's probably planning the next heist. The only question is, who's next? Maybe you should check your bank account, just to be sure. Because in this new world of digital money, nobody's safe, not even a nation's central bank.